And this is what you do when you set out on the spiritual journey. You say, any change is challenging to the body, yet I'm ready to risk that change because I want more than what I'm currently experiencing. I'm ready for a different transformational journey. And in order to get transformation, I have to embrace change. And I'll use my discernment and I'll follow my intuition and my insight to discover the path to the change that serves me, promotes a bliss state. But there are actually other layers of fear that are based on that fear, but they're not labeled as clearly as that fear sometimes. And that's the section we wanted to go into tonight. The idea that you're in a relationship that you know isn't serving you, but you don't leave. You could say at the base of it's fear of getting dead. But there are other ways to describe the fears that maybe are more alive in you. Perhaps the fear is being alone. Perhaps the fear is, what will people think? Perhaps the fear is, how will I have money? How will I get food? Where will I get my shelter? Underneath all those fears is the residual fear, which is fear of getting dead. But we sense that you might be more able to recognize and become conscious of these dynamics if you looked at them with a different label, the intervening label, that I'm afraid of what people will think, or I'm afraid of not having enough money. So that you can bring consciousness to that layer of the fears. And eventually that supports you bringing consciousness to the layer that says, I'm afraid I'm going to get dead. By separating, like we said, separating out the spiritual journey from the physical journey. As you embrace this truth of fear, you start to see how fear is driving all of your actions. Fear is influencing your day-to-day life so deeply. Asking yourself, what am I afraid of right now, is a really revealing process. And taking what you receive and just dealing with it in that moment. What am I afraid of right now? And there is something. Because your body is constantly looking for things it needs to be afraid of in order to protect you from those things. Am I safe or am I threatened? Am I alive or am I dead? That's the body's journey. And that body's journey is churning out unconscious actions and behaviors. Now, some of the things the body churns out are very helpful. Like maybe you don't want to, walk down that alley, or maybe you don't want to go swimming in that water that's freezing cold. The body has wisdom, don't deny this. But there's the whole layer of action that the body doesn't want you to take that's required for transformation. And you desire transformation. And in your desire for transformation, you're actually pitting your spiritual journey against your survival instinct. And that headbutting dynamic has to be dealt with consciously, or it can be paralyzing. And that's kind of what we want to flesh out a little bit tonight with you, is being conscious of where in your life your fears of getting dead and your fears of all the other variety of fears are running up against your desire for spiritual transformation, spiritual growth, ascension. Because at some point, you are going to be rewriting your DNA sufficiently enough that you're actually transforming the physical body. And that's a huge amount of change to request of a vessel whose main thing has been just to keep you alive. And asking it to confront that much transformation without a run-up is unkind to yourself. You're sort of shepherding the body into this transformational space. And as you shepherd the body into this transformational space, you have to be conscious that its job all this time has been to look out for things that it should be afraid of. Therefore, you live in fear until you become conscious of how those fears are either serving you or restricting you.